Okay, in this one, we're going to talk about how to group keywords. To begin, I'm going to need some keywords. So I'm going to copy those 2,800 just so we can see how the program handles 2,800 keywords, how long it takes, and so on. So I will say add to the main keyword list. Here are some keywords. We're going to call this YouTube ads. Okay, now we have a list of keywords, and our goal is to group them logically. Now, how would you do this? The first step is usually to click this Analyze button. That's going to look at the keyword frequencies, so how often a word or phrase appears. Let's notice what happened. We have one-word phrases, two-word phrases, three-word phrases, and four-word phrases. To change this, we go into the settings. This is where you control what outputs in that area. So we'll take off 4. We'll just say Save Changes. Go back to the Grouper tab, click Analyze, and there it's pretty much done. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. How do we group these in a logical way? Now, I'm not going to probably group every single one because it does take time. This can help you group keywords, but it's not a magic bullet yet. If we can group each keyword into its own group. We're going back into the settings now, so that's one option. We could use these features here to determine how to group keywords. So if we say strict word order, that means the order that the words appear in has to be consecutive, meaning if it's like bumper ads, it can't be ads bumper. It has to be bumper and then ads. So let's click that. And then we'll also say stem words. Stemming words is a way of basically distilling the word down to its root form. So what do I mean by that? In this basic example, you can research this on your own, but basically if it's like ads and ad, it will get distilled down to just ad. And this is also a process called lemmatization. If you are into natural language processing, you might want to look at that if you're not. But stemming is even further. It's like one step further from lemmatizing your keywords. But let's just keep it simple. We don't need to get into the weeds of natural language processing right now. Let's click Analyze. I did have that setting set to strict word order and stem words. So one thing you'll notice is if I say promote, it says there's 101 promote keywords. This preview down here shows you what keywords would go into that group. And if we wanted to do like pre-roll, if we wanted that as a group, it says there's 69 of them, we could do that. Bumper ads, it says there's 77 here, and then it says 79 here. So that means, let me show you exactly what that means. So let's take off strict word order, save changes, analyze again. We're going to look at bumper ads again. So it says 77 and 79 here, right? If we say, now we say, it shows 77. That's the frequency for how many times the phrase bumper ads appears. But because of our settings, we see 105 now. So that means the word ads and the word bumper can appear in any order. So it's not strict. It doesn't have to be bumper ads. And we're also stemming words. So the combination of these two features will give you a different way to group keywords. And my best advice would be to just play around with it, see what you like the most. In my opinion, I tend to, if you want more keywords to go into a group, then you would want to stem them, and you could choose basically any word order, so not strict word order. If you want fewer groups and very more tight groups, you should choose strict word order. And you could choose stem words. I think I think it's not very advantageous to have stemmed words unchecked and also have strict word order. This probably gives you the most tightest groups. Also, there's this feature here. This is probably one of the most important features within this entire program. It's the minimum number of keywords per group. So if we wanted to say, well, right now we have one. We'll save this, and before generating or analyzing the results, notice we do get one-word groups we could create. But because we selected, let's say, 10, save changes, let's analyze this again, we're not going to get group options for anything less than 10. So sequence, this is probably for ad sequence campaigns. So you can see that your choices are a smaller selection for what you want to group here. So that's pretty much how you use this. So Google AdWords, Google Ads video appeared 48 times, and it does appear 48 times. That's because of our settings that we set. It's a very strict word order, and that's what these outputs are based on, is a strict word order. So there you go. How do we group these in a way that is relevant? We could say discovery. So anything with discovery ads in it, let's group this. So we could right click it here, click create groups. Okay, that's created. Now let's take a look and see what keywords went into that group. These are the keywords. These are discovery. Now we could, in a later step, in the next video, we're going to show how to filter, but I'll just show you, what about these keywords? Do they all have discovery, but what about the ones that don't have discovery ads? So discovery ads, and let's say it does not contain that entire phrase. So here's what that looks like. So TrueView discovery ad, so it's singular. So if we wanted discovery ad, these are the ones that have discovery but don't have discovery ads or discovery ad. So this is a way of filtering to see how good the group is. And you have to ask yourself, is this relevant? Do we want to create a new group? Do we even want these keywords? That's a later step. But continuing onward, the word in stream, for example, is a very popular phrase within YouTube advertising. And notice we have the word in right here. It's a stop word. So we want to remove that, probably. Then we will save changes, go back to the grouper tab, analyze this, and now we should see in-stream ad. But how do we find it? We could type here. Now, a word of caution, if I type in, we see in stream, and we also see in space stream. So word of caution, sorry, I'm all over the map here. A word of caution, if you go and type this in with a big keyword list, and then we say backspace, watch, sometimes that process there, the undoing of your search can take a long time. I don't know why. I think it's just not an optimal search, quite simply. But let's try this. I'm going to show you a feature within grouping. So we know in stream and in stream, they're basically the same thing, right? Probably want that to be a group. So if we hold Control and we click them both, they're both selected down here. We could just make them separate groups, create groups, but here's where the power comes in. We could merge these groups to be one group. So in stream and in space stream will go into a single ad group. Let's try it. We'll say merge groups. Now let's take a look at that group. We're in here on the tree. We have in stream, all one word. Scroll down to the bottom, and we have in space stream. So anything that is related, you can use merge groups by selecting multiple groups, and then right-clicking, click merge groups. Okay. Another thing I want to show you is, let's say something is not relevant. So let's say promotion. Promotion might be people, we'll say promotion or promote. Promo, we'll type that in. We have promote, promotion. Let's say these words are not relevant to us. For whatever reason, we have options. We can say negative. So when you add them as negatives, what happens is, first, those keywords that contain those words or phrases are deleted. Then those keywords get added down here to this negative keyword list. That is helpful because those will be saved when we go and generate our campaign. So this is a very powerful tool for filtering out things you don't want, and the things you don't want get saved to a list and also generated at the end. So let's go ahead and just add these as negatives. So we did that. Now let's close that. Type in promote again, P-R-O-M-O. We don't see it. We see promo, but those didn't show up because our minimum, there's promoted. So we could also use this filter to say promoted. Promoted. And then we could, let's clear this filter here. Now I'll admit this area down here is pretty not optimal at all. But we could write our words in here and we could say filter, and this is the criteria. We could say contains full word. Let's do contains full word. That's my favorite one. And we have this promoted. This is the only keyword that has the word promoted in it. From here, we could just say delete. I just press delete on my keyboard and it's gone. So if we try to filter that again, filter, it's not there. And then you have to click this clear filter button. And then we could take this keyword promoted and manually put it on the negative keyword list. So that's how you add negatives and store them. You can do it from here too. And then if some keywords you just don't want to, they're kind of on the fence, or they might overlap with your positive keywords. So what you do is you just delete them. So specs. Let's say this is like a really nitty-gritty in the weeds type of intent, because they're in the research phase of like, okay, what size do I need? What file format does it have to be in? What are the actual specs of the ad? And maybe that's just maybe that's not what you're looking for. So from here, you would just say, I don't want to add it as a negative. I do want to delete it though. So let's delete all the keywords with specs. And to do this appropriately or properly, we would just type in spec. And we have add specs, or what we could do, I'm bouncing all over the place. Let's say delete groups. So anything with specs in it is going to be deleted. Now let's type it in again. These are the words, so specialists, specifications, specific. So I think specifications would be also something we don't want. And there you go. So that's pretty much a way of deleting the keywords that aren't necessarily negatives, but also you don't really want to bid on either, because they may or may not convert.